Hello, I'm Aubrey Shepard, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the Community Wildlife Project that Fayetteville is working on. And meantime, while I'm talking, we can look at some photos of some of the things you could have growing in your yard and more butterflies in your yard. And here we go. There's a shot of bone set with a tiny butterfly that I believe it's called the, that one was called this one, let's see what this one is. This is the buckeye butterfly on a liatris plant. And there is a cardinal eating the seeds of the, tall or giant weed that people blame for a lot of the sneezing, and it may cause it, but it doesn't cause me to sneeze. I don't know. Anyway, here's some of the buckeye. That was a buckeye butterfly we were talking about. Now this is a swallowtail butterfly. I'm a little rattled tonight. It's been really cold at my house, and it's the 27th of December 2010. There's a tiny flower from September, and you can see a tiny insect on it. There's a slightly different shot of those two creatures together, and hope you can see it okay. But it's really difficult for me, with no better camera or skill than I have, to get these tiny things and get them up close and make you see the details. But anyway, if you participate in the Community Wildlife Habitat Project, you may see more of these things in your own yard. And these are all native plants we're showing, with a few native insects on them. Anyway, what's it say? Creating native neighborhoods for all species. The well-being of our native plants and animals has a direct impact on the quality of life in Fayetteville. It has impact on the quality of life worldwide. It's a world peace issue, in fact. When we provide for the specific needs of wildlife throughout our community, we create neighborhoods that are healthier and more enjoyable for everyone. Neighborhoods where green space and natural surroundings are enhanced, where water quality is preserved, where families can enjoy the rich diversity of life outside their front door, and where people can reconnect to nature in their own backyards. Habitat destruction and fragmentation are among the biggest threats to wildlife today. Urbanization has diminished the natural territory of our local wildlife, forcing them increasingly to rely on our suburban landscapes for survival. That's a milkweed. That's a short green milkweed, I believe, you see on your screen. That's for monarchs. There is a white liatris on the screen. I showed some shots of that 1 week in September, I believe, or maybe in August. But anyway, these are a look back and some of the special things. I'll be doing that all winter long probably, and trying to get shots that are different from the shots I showed you earlier in the year. Anyway, the Fayetteville Community Wildlife Habitat Project is a volunteer-driven, collaborative program initiated by the Environmental Action Committee as an answer to this growing concern for wildlife. That's a halictid bee. Halictid bees are native bees. They don't have hives. They're solitary bees, people call them. And that one I was getting pretty close, as you'll see when you see my hand in the background of one of these. But these wild creatures that may have the capacity to sting you, they don't want to sting you when you're out there just making their picture. They simply are going about their business of nectaring and picking up pollen. Some of them actually use the pollen, and they spread it and take care of their young, and they pollinate food crop plants. If we didn't have those honeybees that have been imported from Europe years and years ago, that we depend on so much, it would be all about the native honeybees. But as it is, the imported honeybees are being destroyed by various problems in various places, and so the native bees and other pollinators are very important for our food crops now. Anyway, together we can create attractive landscapes that provide healthy habitat not only for butterflies, songbirds, cottontail rabbits, and other interesting wildlife, but for ourselves and for future generations as well. That's a seed pod of the world milkweed that I showed you the tiny flowers just a second before that. We'll talk more about this subject in the future, but I want you to know you may be getting this in your water bill in January. If not January, then in February. And please look at it carefully and consider participating. And you don't have to spend any money to do this. You can get wildflower seeds just by walking out in the wilds and selecting them. And plenty of people will help you pick the right ones who are concerned about this. But what you can do if you want to participate fully is have your yard registered as part of the neighborhood community habitat for wildlife. And I did that 2 or 3 years ago, and have a nice sign to go with it and so forth. Anyway, until next time, this is Aubrey Shepherd, hoping it doesn't get any colder this winter, and hope we do get some moisture soon. Ask you, please do your part to help keep the water clean, the air pure, and the woods green, and think about this community wildlife habitat. Thank you. Hello, I'm Aubrey Shepherd. This is the 28th of December, 2010, and I'll be sharing some pictures, not today's pictures, because this is a cold, cold, ugly day in some ways, but some pictures from a month or so ago, probably August, I believe, or 3 months ago now, but anyway, just a few outdoor shots. And there we start with a view of the Peace Circle area at World Peace Wetland Prairie, and there's a basket flower in this shot at World Peace Wetland Prairie. That one's way past bloom. It's a beautiful flower. Sorry I'm too lazy to go dig and find you a good picture of it when it was in bloom, but that's the way it was in late summer. It'd been really dry. There's a thistle with a very beautiful but very dark, except for the spots you can see underneath there, swallowtail butterfly. Those are tiny insects, about, they fit on the top of the nail of your little finger. They're milkweed bugs. They're on a milkweed plant, and they eat the seeds. There's a black and sort of white and black, or more of a bone color, and it's a wasp. I love to see those wasps. You can see my hand behind him. I was actually holding him up close to me and took the picture with close-up mode on the camera. And they just don't even worry about stinging when you're up close to them like that. So I put my hand up there and sometimes touch them. This is a fritillary butterfly. I think it's called the Great Spangled Fritillary. And I've got pictures here from 2 or 3 different places around my World Peace Wetland Prairie in my yard of these particular butterflies. And sort of put some of those together. And fritillaries are a large group of butterflies. There are many fritillaries, and among them the state, Arkansas State fritillary is called, what's it called? You see it on the license plates anyway. The female's dark blue and the black blue, and the male is similar to this one you're seeing here, but this is the Great Spangled. There are 2 very tiny moths. They're called skippers. Skipper moths are the ones that fly in the daytime. Those are on swamp milkweed. See them up a little closer there. And again, I was pushing the window of getting the camera right up on them. That is a crescent pearl butterfly. Those are pretty tiny also, and that's on the, I believe that's on the, that tall, maybe 12 feet tall plant where it's leaning down after it's been weathered. The rain and wind will knock those down, and it's a cup plant, I believe. And you can see several shots of the pearl crescent from different angles. Now we're back to it's like another fritillary shot on the same kind of flowers, and again, that's one that's broken down by the wind. There, the color looks a little darker, but it's actually the same butterfly, or the same kind. I jumped from, yeah, that's the same one there. So I've got 2 or 3 in a row. Sometimes I'll make 30. Or when that Diana fritillary, which is, like say, the male's similar to this, was in there, I took 36 of him, I think, while he was on a milkweed plant, but I've never seen him again, so it was very fortunate that I happened to be there when he was on that milkweed right there, a few feet from World Peace Wetland Prairie in my yard. And anyway, here's the ironweed, and that one I had pulled down for the picture too, and had it. There you can see, this is a tiny legume. There's so many different peanut and bean family flowers similar to that I wouldn't attempt to tell you which one we're looking at. Well, the importance of preservation of community wildlife habitat is explained in that brochure. I hope in January you will be receiving in your water bill a copy of that brochure. Please save it and read it and consider putting native plants in your yard and protecting more species of vegetation for wildlife. And then you'll have more butterflies, you'll have more birds, and your neighbors will too. And they may want to do the same thing once they see that you don't have to have feeders for birds in your yard if you've got flowers that have gone to seed. And that's the most inexpensive bird feeding process you can undertake. Till next time, this is Arbor Shepherd asking you to do your part to help keep the water clean, the air pure, and the woods green.